Nanny MC Fay, topic of the day, part 12, coincidence. With my porridge I had grapes again. Now there's a coincidence, and we will talk about that now. As there are more than 7 billion people on the planet, according to the law of truly large numbers, any outrageous thing is likely to happen. Here are some examples of true coincidences, so you can judge for yourself. In 1979, twin baby boys were reunited at the age of 39. Up until then, they had no knowledge of the other's existence. Both men had been named Jim by their respective adoptive parents. When they met, they found out that they both loved maths and carpentry, and both became police officers. Eerier yet, they each married a woman named Betty. Spookier still, they called each of their sons James Allen. However, the only difference was that one of the Allens was spelt with 2-letter L's. Now that is truly remarkable. Mark Twain, the American writer of stories such as Uncle Tom's Cabin, who was born in 1835 when Halley's Comet was passing the Earth, predicted that he would die on its next return. Sure enough, he did die on the very day of its next passing, 76 years later. In 2001, a 10-year-old girl named Laura Buxton stood in her front garden and released a balloon on which she had written in these words, "Please return to Laura Buxton," along with her address. The balloon travelled 140 miles south before landing in the garden of Laura Buxton, another 10-year-old girl with the same name and age. And when they met each other, they both had a grey rabbit and a guinea pig. I bet they became lifelong friends. A BBC Two show some years ago told the story of an AA man who was walking past a phone box in the middle of nowhere when the phone began to ring. He answered and was amazed to find he was talking to his dispatcher. The boss had meant to ring his mobile, but had rung his staff number instead, which just happened to be the phone number of the very phone box that the AA man was walking past. Curiouser and curiouser, said Alice, but I digress. Tamerlane was a warlord of the 14th century. He caused the death of 17 million people. Joseph Stalin, dictator of the Soviet Union, ordered the tomb of Tamerlane to be opened by a team of archaeologists. When it was opened, an eerie inscription on the inside said, "Whoever opens my tomb shall unleash an invader more terrible." He must have been psychic. Professor Stephen Hawking was born on the 300th anniversary of Galileo's death and died on what would have been Einstein's 139th birthday. Actually, the most surprising thing about Hawking's life was the fact that he survived to be 76 years old despite living with Lou Gehrig's disease, because according to scientific journals, those with this disease only live for 5 years after they were diagnosed. Brave man. The two political adversaries of the American War of Independence, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, died within hours of each other on the 4th of July, 1826, no less. The odds of being hit by a meteor are infinitely small. So the fact that not only did a meteor crash into a house, but the people living there were called Comet. So the family who live in France now have their own piece of outer space rock. The Simpsons TV program is known to have accurately predicted the future 18 times. I won't list them all, But I'm sure the one about Donald Trump becoming president is a classic, as predicted by the writer Dan Greene 16 years before it actually came to pass. Who would have thought or believed it possible, except, of course, Dan Greene? Give him a gong on the head. Last but not least is a dream I had myself one night in 1974. I dreamt that I was picking my cousin Nellie up from the airport after she flew in from New York, where she lives. I was bemused as I knew she was not planning a visit. The next morning, I told my late husband, who informed me that Flying Nellie was the name of a racehorse that was running that very day. I asked him to put on 25 pence each way for me. Flying Nellie won the 1974 Cambridgeshire Handicap at odds of 22 to 1. How is that for a coincidence? Thank you.